Shout out to Nova one more time for letting me know to record. Shout out to you. But yeah, if you guys don't have the recording of last week's, go ahead and hit me up, and I will be posting that soon. But yeah, last week we went over pretty much the whole hour, and we broke down entries, right? So I want to briefly go over entries one more time because I know we still have people who didn't hop on, and we may have some new people here today on the call, and then we can go ahead and look at charts, so we can go ahead and start practicing this stuff. What do you guys think? Let me know, or we could do a Q&A. I'm always down for a Q&A. If you guys have questions, guys, make sure you ask your questions. So Q&A, anybody? I mean, it just starts with the question. So as soon as you guys have a question, just go ahead. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop over to the charts. All right, bet. Let's go ahead and exit this. Let me pull up the chats real quick. What is my most valuable skill when it comes to the Forex markets? My most valuable skill is identifying structure and waiting for my confirmations, right? Those are the two main things that I do very, very well, because I've spent a lot of time back testing. So I can anticipate, I can literally see when the market is trying to entice me to go into this trade, but I know that it's not ready yet. I know in the back of my mind that it's not ready yet, and I still have to be waiting, because even though you guys are identifying setups, to wait for these confirmations, there is another piece to it. Like, you have to continue to wait and watch the structure play out, get that confirmation that you need, and then take those opportunities. So I feel like those are my most strongest skill sets when it comes to trading. The skill set of patience, yes, like that's a big thing, guys. Being able to stay patient is huge, because if you guys are trigger fingers and you guys are too ready, you know what I'm saying? You guys, I mean, don't get me wrong, losses are part of the game and you recoup those as we go. But, if you can hold yourself from taking, one or two extra losses because you're being too trigger fingers, that's always a good thing. That way you can preserve as much capital as possible to get as, much money as possible with your 1 to 3 risk to reward. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, patience is huge. Patience is huge. But let's go ahead and get into it. We're already on here. So, wait, you guys can see my screen, right? I'm on levels right now. Yeah? Okay, thank you, too. All right. We're only going over one setup today, which is sells or buys. And then we'll go ahead and go over, the breakdown of the next one next week. So what do you guys want today, guys? Sells or buys? Because breaking down, both with 4 different types is too long. Let's see. I see sales are getting overpowered, so let's go ahead and check out some sell examples. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go over some sells. All right, so I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to use the lines instead of drawing out the candles, so that takes way too long. But, guys, the basics, right? If you are new, the basics, if you are able to identify a downtrend, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. If you can actually see that the market is continuing down, this is called a downtrend, right? Now, what we want to do in a downtrend is look for some sell opportunities. I am not trying to catch a falling knife and take buys in these positions. You can. I'm not saying you can't, but I would like to continue riding the trend rather than trying to fight the trend. So I'm not looking to take any buys in these positions. I would rather continue sells in these positions here. Does that make sense? Now, how can we catch these positions? How can we take advantage when the market pulls back and we can go ahead and continue that sell? How can we do that? We're going to go ahead and break that down. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this way. Now, the starting point setup, guys. This is going to be the starting point setup. Now, it goes hand in hand. This is why it's so important to identify structure, right? If you're able to see we have break of structures to the downside, this is going to be the most helpful thing when it comes to finding starting points. Identifying structure. You must know where your lower low is at. You must know, oops, that's super ugly, where your lower low is at, your lower high, your lower low, your lower high, You have to be able to identify these things so you can go ahead and try to catch these starting point ideas, right? Because these breaks of structures, guys, are super important to this strategy, right? So as the market continues to drop and gives me a low, right? Actually, let's just go ahead and break it down with the freaking candle. Why not? It's a lot more detailed. Is your starting point the candle that broke structure all the time? So it's not the candle that breaks structure. It's the last opposite candle. So if we're in a downtrend, usually those candles are red, right? And so in that, if that case, we get a bearish break of structure, your last opposite candle would be the buying candle, the green candle. So we're looking for the last buying candle before the break of structure to the downside, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and give that to you right now. So again, we need structure to build. Okay, so the market is making lows. We need the market to pull back. This is important. We need to see the structure, right? So as the market pulls back, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Now we have to stay on top of it, right? So let's go ahead. The market's going up. Right now we have lower low, lower high. Does that make sense? Same thing over here. We have lower low, lower high. We need to identify this break of structure, right? Lower low, lower high. We need to find the last buying candle before this break of structure to the downside. Give me a 2 if that makes sense, guys. So what I like to do, especially when I'm trading with the starting point strategy, I literally like to keep a line right there that says needs BOS for a sell opportunity. So if the market does not break and close below that black line, I'm not looking for sales because the market can continue going up a bit higher, right? So let's go ahead and continue. As the market starts to drop, we have to identify the last buying candle before the bearish breakout rally, right? So let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and create some type of structure here. Boom. This is what we got. This is what we got. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. Is everybody with me right now? Go ahead and unmute and let me know this is making sense.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You guys?
Yep.
Let me know, guys. Let me know. That's only like 5 people. We have 45 on this call, 44.
It's
You can
making
type in the
sense.
chat if you're shy. If you're shy, you can type it in the chat. It's okay. All right. Appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. So let's go ahead and mark this up. Let's confirm this, right? We can go ahead and delete this, get this out the way because that's the long line. And let's label this. Break a structure.
My bad, dude.
Go ahead. What's up, bro?
I had a question. I couldn't. I'm new to Zoom. I'm trying to figure out how to undo everything. But it says boss, right? What exactly is the acronym for boss meaning? Like, is
Break
there a
of structure.
break of structure? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
that.
Yep. Yes, sir. So as we break structure to the downside. Now, Richard, what boss is, right? When we see a boss, when we see that break of structure to the downside, and when we see that the market is in that downtrend, that's a good thing. Now, when we see that break of structure right here, this is letting us know that the market wants to start heading down now. Does that make sense, bro?
Yes, it does make sense. Sorry, I'm taking notes as you're talking. So if
No, you're
I,
good, bro. You
if
can
I
give me a thumbs up. I can see you too. You can throw that thumb on the camera. So
got it,
you're locked in. Yes, sir.
got you. Thank you.
Yep. So when we see that break of structure to the downside, that's letting us know the market's ready to start heading down. Okay. Now, once we're able to identify that breakout rally, we have to follow that rally back up to the last buying candle that gave us the break of structure, right? So we have 1 candle here, 2 candle here, 3 candle here, boom. This is the last buying candle, right? That's my starting point. This is my starting point right here. Now, again, levels is going to help you guys, right? So use levels. What levels does, it's going to put a red arrow on the candle that gave us the break of structure. So when you can see this red arrow right here, guys, go ahead and match this red arrow to the bears button. And what that's going to do is it's going to go ahead and draw your box. It's going to draw your sell zone. Let's use this. It's going to go ahead and draw your sell zone just like that in red. So you know it's a sell zone. Give me a 5 if that makes sense, guys. Trust me, on funky structure, I still use levels, right? Because you're like, dang, this shit ugly, bro. Like, I want to make sure I'm correct too, right? So keep that in mind, guys. Hey, for real. Right? So, again, we found the breakout rally. We followed that rally back up to the last buying candle. This last buying candle right here, guys, this is called my starting point. This is my starting point. Why is it called the starting point? Coach O uses levels also, right? Yes, Gian. Why is it called the starting point? Because this last buying candle started this massive rally that gave us the break of structure. Give me a 1 if that makes sense. So this is going to be our sell opportunity. Like, this is our point of interest right here. This whole red box, this is our sell zone. Now, once we find our starting point, we have to find the last wick in that area. I'm sorry, the highest wick in that area, right? So now let's say there's no wick here. Let's say it's kind of funky and the highest wick is right there. This is going to be our stop loss. Sucks to suck, but that's what it is, right? But if you can identify a high wick in that area, go ahead and tighten that up so you can have a good risk to reward. So, boom, we have our entry, we have our stop loss. Let's go ahead. This is what we're looking at with the minimum 1 to 3 risk to reward. This is our starting point opportunity. So as the market is waiting right here, right? The market just dropped. We didn't catch this, guys. We didn't catch this. I mean, unless you're on lower time frames doing what you do, you know, playing sniper, I get it, right? But, you know, let's just say we didn't catch this move. So once this happens, we're waiting right here. We're not going to enter here because we can see the market's dropping. Is stop loss money we are willing to lose? Yes, Nicholas. Yes. So from entry to my stop loss, let's just say I was willing to risk $10. Right? What a stop loss does, it's your safety net. Right? So once you tell, you know, your the app, you know, what your stop loss is and what you're willing to lose, that's it. Once the market goes against you, right? Because there is always a possibility we may take losses, right? Once the market goes against you, you are only going to risk your $10. But if you do not put a stop loss because you think you are the best trader in the world, right, you can lose more than your 10. And that's not what we want to do. We want to save extra ammo for later, right? Because again, traders, guys, everybody takes losses. We can't avoid them. It is what it is. But risk to reward is what helps us out. And that's why we use a 1 to 3. So always put a stop loss, guys. That doesn't mean you suck. Taking a loss does not mean you're a shit investor or a shit trader. The market's going to go against us sometimes. What's up, Richard? I see you have a hand up. I can't hear you, bro. You got to unmute.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
No, you're
I'm
good.
still learning the whole process of this thing. So my quick question that I had is, so if we're in the middle of a stop loss, right, and at the bottom of that red candle that you have, if we're invested in the market, right, and since the market is dropping, but we invested at a lower price. So for example, I had XRP at different rates that I had purchased in. So my buy-in rate had changed. Well, I decided to sell and buy in lower That way it would one equal out, but I'd also get more of XRP at that amount. But did I do the right thing or did I do the wrong thing?
I'm not sure I'm understanding your question 100%, to be honest.
So say if you're ready to sell, all right? If I bought in XRP and over time my collective was $2.66, right? But now the market's dropped, it's sitting in at like $2.08. Well, I decided to take my L for what it was, willing to have that profit loss, but I sold other meme coins, etc., to get to the point where I wanted to be, and then turned all that money into XRP to essentially get more than I initially had. By doing that, am I
That makes sense. Yeah, so that you pretty much gave yourself a stop loss. You took your short loss so you can wait for that upside confirmation so you can go ahead and do what you do. Right? You pretty much did the right thing.
okay? Cool, thank you.
Yep. You think you can find a space or set up on GB? Yeah, I can. I'll take a look at that after this. Now, once we have our entry under our stop loss, guys, our 1 to 3 risk to reward, boom, we're good. Now we wait. Now we wait, guys. So as the market is coming back up, okay, cool. We haven't even entered a trade yet. We haven't entered a trade yet. That's fine. As soon as the market comes into our zone, we can go ahead, take these opportunities, and we are looking to shift the market in that downward trend. We want to go ahead and try to catch that next break of structure. Because if this is, again, my lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, we're continuing that downtrend. Does that make sense, guys? So in these setups over here, we are looking to catch these lows. I'm sorry, catch the highs and continue in that downtrend every single time as the market is dropping down. Make sense, guys? This would be the starting point setup right here. So let's go ahead. Boom. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right? Sell opportunities for the starting point. This is what we're looking for, guys. Go ahead and zoom in, get a little better for y'all. Y'all can take a screenshot. Make sure you guys put this in your notes. Take the notes. Don't just watch and be like, oh yeah, he made sense. Okay, I'm gonna remember that. Put it in your notes, guys. I don't care if you have 5 or 6 notes or notebooks full of the same setup. It's repetition. I'm giving you guys the same setup every call. I'm looking for the same setup every day. The same setup every week. It's repetition. The more you guys know it like the back of your hand, the better off you are going to be, the less emotional you are going to be as a trader. It all goes hand in hand, guys. I promise you. Right? So draw this out, have it in your notebook. Okay? Now let's go ahead and go over the head and shoulder sell opportunity real quick. We'll make that quick. Consistency. Come on, bruh. All right, so let's go ahead and just zoom in a little bit. We'll use the same one right here. Now, the same rules apply, guys. You see how easy the structure for the starting point was? Right? Guys, what I'm going to show you right now with the head and shoulder, it's the same thing. It's just a bit more advanced because I know we do have more intermediate traders and advanced traders on these calls. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down. But again, guys, even if you're a beginner, this is something you should know. You should learn this. You should want to learn this. Right? So what I'm going to break down is now the structure inside. So as the market starts to go back up, there's always structure inside of it on lower time frame. We need to be as detailed as possible so we can go ahead and find the structure we need to take these sales. This is going to give us some extra confirmation, guys. So we can say that the daily time frame will look like this. Super clean structure, super clean candle structure. But as soon as you drop to a lower time frame, this is what you're seeing. More structure is popping out to you, right? So this is something we also need to identify, okay? So let's go ahead. We'll drop down. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go over here. Now I'm just going to copy this and just go a bit higher. Yeah, we'll just delete that. All right. So right now, this is my pullback. My pullback is being formed right now, right? We have lower low and lower high. But we are forming highs inside of this as well. So we also need to focus on these breakage structures to the upside. This is important, guys. This is super important. For the head and shoulder setup, guys, in a downtrend, this is how you catch these trends, guys. Let me go ahead and just delete this. So if this is my BOS to the upside, fam, where should my change of character line be? Who wants to draw it out? Yes, sir, Juan. Need change of direction for sell opportunity. Because again, we know the market wants to go down, but right now it's in that short-term uptrend. Long-term it's going down, but it's giving that short-term uptrend before it continues to drop. Long-term downtrend, short-term uptrend before it continues to drop. What's the best and most used time frame to trade when you're looking for these trends? It all depends on what type of trader you are, because this works on any time frame. If you're a scalper, this works, lower time frames. If you're intraday, 1 hour, 4 hour, this works. If you're looking for swings, on dailies, weeklies, and monthlies, this works as well. So, time frame shouldn't be a problem, right? So now, guys, if the market is ready to go, it's going to go ahead and change direction, and we can start looking for opportunities to sell the market. But until that happens, we're going to go ahead and continue going higher. So let's go ahead, just give a little, quick little pullback. Come on, son. All right. Quick little pullback, and then we'll go ahead and continue the trend one more time. Cool. So now we have a break of structure. Let's actually just move these over. Yeah. You can get it detailed. Cool. So we have a break of structure. So let's just go ahead and adjust. We want to go ahead and just continue moving our break of structure line and change of character line. Now, as soon as the market wants to go ahead and change direction, guys, we are ready to start looking for sells. Right? So let's go ahead. We'll give it a freaking news candle and just freaking blah. Market's going crazy. Market's going crazy. Right? We got the change of direction. The market is ready to start going down now. So let's go ahead and just label this up. Change of direction to the downside. We now got confirmation the market wants to go head down. Cool. We have the head and shoulder set up right here. This is what we're looking for. But our zones, right? You can possibly see a starting point setup, right? Break of structure, starting point right here. Sometimes these two setups will go hand in hand. But right now, we're going to go ahead and focus on the head and shoulder setup, right? So my sell zone, it's going to be our very last break of structure before the change of direction. So we had break of structure number one, break of structure number one, break of structure number two, change of direction. We want to focus on the very last break of structure before changing direction to the downside. Give me an 8 if that makes sense, guys. I'll do that one more time. We want to focus on the very last break of structure that gave us a change of direction. So we have break of structure number one, break of structure number two, and then we change direction. We want to focus on this break of structure for our sell zones. Okay. Now, we want to focus on the highest wick to the lowest, or to the closest body. right? So if that's the highest wick, my sell zone will start from the high wick to the closest body right here. And I'll go ahead and show you guys on the live charts as well. Now let's say my high wick is a bit higher. Like, this is our sell zone. We got to use what the market's giving us. Let's say my wick is actually kind of small. Then my zone will start from that highest wick to the closest body, right? My sell zones for the head and shoulder completely go off of how big our wicks are for these ranges, right? So we'll go ahead and focus on that a bit more when we go ahead and hop on live charts. Now, my stop loss will be the high. The highest wick also. If you see a wick that's like that, I'm not putting my stop loss on the body. I want to go ahead and use the highest wick. So this is what we're looking at, guys. Your stop loss should be at the high. Your shoulder, minimum 1 to 3 risk to award. Now we're waiting. Again, the market is right here right now. We're waiting patiently for the market to come back up, come into my sell opportunity, so we can go ahead and ride the market in that downtrend. Does that make sense, guys? Yo, what's up, Brian? Yo, I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. What's good? Head and shoulder sell opportunity, guys. Right, and again, all this is lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, are we ready to go ahead and start looking at live markets right now? Yes, sir. Hey, I'd love to see that, bro. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, GBP JPY. Let's go ahead and just refresh what's going on here. Now we're on GBP JPY. Let's go to the daily, weekly time frame. I always like to go on higher time frames to give me like a really good outlook of what's going on. Check NAS on the 5-minute. I'll take a look after this. Remind me. So take a look at this, guys. We were going in an uptrend, right? We had break of structure to the upside. Break of structure. Break of structure. Break of structure. Right? Now, look what happens, guys. Market changes direction. Whether you use this as your change of direction or you use this, market clap both. Now, as soon as we change direction, guys, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, we change direction. That already gave us the confirmation we could start looking for sell opportunities. Right? But now what are we doing? We're kind of just hanging out in this area, moving sideways now. We're not really going higher or going lower. We're kind of just consolidating here on the weekly time frame. Now on lower time frames, we're like, oh yeah, we're catching some big bags. We're you know, there are some opportunities, which there will be. But in the bigger time frame, when you're playing on the bigger, in the bigger game rather than the smaller game, you can see that the market is actually consolidating. Do you recommend looking at higher time frames than smaller time frames? I do recommend, not like, you should be looking at everything, right? From the monthly down to the 1 hour. If you choose to drop down lower to be a more to refine your entries and be a sniper and just focus on the details, then you can drop down as low as you want. But everything is the same when it comes to levels. We're looking for the same thing, right? Nothing changes just because you're dropping a lower time frame. But you should always have some type of higher time frame bias just to understand what's going on long term, right? When people get caught in the market, it's because they're not looking at the higher time frame. I promise you, every time somebody gets caught saying the market is toxic, you got caught playing in the smaller game when there is a bigger game going on, right? So there's a shoulder right here. I'm gonna go ahead and use this high wick as well. Yep, got you. Let's lower that. Extend that to the right. and then there's a starting point right here. So we have two sell opportunities hanging out. Nothing has been touched yet, and we're still just ranging in this area, right? But since we got this change of direction, I'm personally just focused on sells, right? Yes, people are capitalizing on buys, but I would still like to focus on sells. Let's take a look. We know there's liquidity down here as well. Ton of liquidity. Ton of liquidity right here. Right? And the market is also building up some more. So let's drop down the daily time frame. Now, in this area, the market is actually focused on downward momentum. Now, if we look at this area specifically, notice how we have lower low, lower high. The market gives me a break of structure to the downside. Now, levels is also identifying this as well, helping me, right? And we get the break of structure right here. Let's go ahead. We have a bearish break of structure. BOS to the downside. Now, if I click this red, or match this red arrow to the red buttons, level is going to go ahead and draw out my sell opportunity. We can go ahead and close that. Now, the market is respecting the zone, right? So again, if this is my lower low and this is my lower high, where's my change of character line, guys? Go ahead and draw that out for me. If this is my lower low, this is my lower high, market continues to give me a lower low. To confirm reversals, where should my change of character line for buy opportunities be, guys? Anybody know? Let's go, Noel. Let's go, Eli. What's good, Eli? Miss you on these calls, bro. Need change of direction for buy opportunities. Now again, this is a daily time frame structure. Because now the market is making liquidity right here, building up liquidity. So what the market can do in this bearish trend is it can just go ahead, sweep this liquidity, and then continue down. So I really want to confirm that with the structure. Right? If you want to, I know Coach O, he likes to wait for this as a change of character. So as soon as this, it breaks and closes above, you know, as soon as the market breaks and closes above, he's looking to go ahead and take some buys to continue up higher, right? That would be a bit more aggressive. If you follow that, continue to do what you do. He does that, but I've noticed, you know, I just like personally the actual structure to be broken first. Because if we can go ahead and just confirm, you know, the change of character with this breakout rally, then I can just go ahead and take this buy here. Like, I'm not trying to rush opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So if the market wants to come back and give me a play, boom, I'll take that instead of catching this one. Does that make sense, guys? But it all goes based off what the pair's habits are, right? I've noticed on the pairs that I've traded, like sometimes I get caught right here trying to be aggressive. Sometimes I get caught trying to take that buy when the market barely goes above my starting point, knowing that it didn't give me the change of direction here, right? So what happens is the market barely breaks and closes above. I'm being aggressive trying to take buys to shift the market higher, right? But the market continues down. Gives me the perfect sell opportunity and continues. I've noticed that happen to me a couple times, and I just wanted to focus on the actual highs to be broken. Makes sense, guys? Makes sense? Anybody have any questions on that? All right, we're good. So let's drop down to 4-hour time frame. I can see the market structure has shifted right here in this area, right? As soon as it came back inside, we did get a little head and shoulder structure shift. Now, we do have a breakout rally to the downside, giving me a starting point right here. So if I layer that up, boom, that's my sell opportunity. And I also like it makes equal highs right there. It gives me liquidity to take opportunities. Now, I do know that some people are looking for buys in this area, and I get it because of the structure that's been given. But because of higher time frame is in a downtrend in that area, and we're also in, liquidity here, I would like the market to continue down personally, right? So with that being said, I'm looking at the structure that's happening here, right? I know I want the market to come back up here. If the market can come back up here, I would not mind seeing if we can, take on the idea of taking some sales, right? Shift the market, continue it down. But the market is right here right now. So what can we do? Okay, cool. You should go break even. Especially if you entered down here, you should be like around 1-to-1-ish, right? 1-to-1-ish. So, I mean, I would go break even. Now, not only that, I'm looking at those wicks right there, and that just looks kind of nasty to me. If we drop down, we do have some equal lows, especially on lower time frame. I know you can't see it because it's just a wick, but if we drop down to the 5-minute even, all the structure looks a bit different. So it's pretty much showing a wick right here on the 1 hour time frame. Now let's go back up. See what I mean? But it's okay. Now even in this area, right, we do have a starting point that's free. We have the breaker structure here. Levels is saying we have a starting point. So if I press the bears button, there is a starting point right there, and it's actually untouched. So this would actually be a pretty good counter trend, right? It's a free right shoulder. Now if we can go ahead and clear some of this liquidity that's being built up right here, I would not be mad. Would not be mad. We're gonna go ahead and let Kike eat off the buys, and then we'll see if we can go ahead and eat off the sells a bit later. Maybe sometime later on this week, maybe we can go ahead and shift that market down. Would not mind that, right? Would not mind that. So just keep that in mind. Now, even as the market is continuing up in this area, even to be a bit more, more detailed, especially if like GJ is something that you actually trade on a daily basis. If you're in profit right here, let's see, let's look at this. This actually looks pretty good. I wouldn't mind if this actually runs up a bit higher, shifts the market up. Clear some of this out, then shift the market down. But if the market clears out this liquidity right here, now this is something to keep in mind, guys, because again, the market is in a downtrend on the higher time frame. So this would be a counter trend scalp. You know what I'm saying? So once the market clears this liquidity, this is something to be, aware of. Once the market clears this liquidity right here, and we change character right here, we can possibly take out these lows. So just keep that in mind. We don't necessarily have to come way up here. Vinny, do you set pendings, or do you like to wait for lower time frame breaker structure to get the continuation? I do set pendings. Pendings are my test trades, right? Pendings are my test trades. I'm never scared to take a loss, especially if the market is like super under leveraged. So I don't care about taking those losses, and especially when there's zones that I've been waiting for weeks. Like for me personally, I don't usually scalp every day. Like I'm not trying to make the move of the day. I don't trade every day at 6 a.m. unless the market gives me like a super fire setup, giving me something I can take. But if the market looks funky, I'm not trading every day. So what does that mean for me? I have to look up to a higher time frame and see what the market is doing. Why is the market staying in this area? It's building liquidity. Okay, let's go up a bit higher. Kind of just like this, right? For an example. Kind of like this, right? I would not be trading every day inside of this area. For me personally, I wouldn't be. I would be waiting right here. So I would have a pending order with the super under leveraged trade. Now, as soon as we go ahead and get this opportunity that shifts the market, we get this little change of direction right here, then I'm putting my 1% in this area so we can shift the market down, right? But that's what I like to do. So I do set pendings, especially for me while I'm at work. Like I'm at work like kind of all day. If the market doesn't move from 6 to 9, then I kind of don't catch nothing because I work hair. I cut hair from 10 to 6, you know. So, but if I get an alert, something I'm looking at, you know, at the gym, I'll just set an alert there instead of pending there while I'm at the gym. And if it hits, it hits, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, you know. But yeah, it's all preference, bro. It's nothing right or nothing wrong. So what do you like to do? You know, so don't worry about the noise. Just focus on what's been helping you. If it's helping you, continue to do it. If it isn't, maybe you shouldn't. Make sense, Bruno? Cool. So look at this. This is Nas. What does Nas look? I mean, what does it look like? Was this bullish or bearish to you?
Bearish.
Pretty bearish. And again, this is 4-hour time frame. Let's go up to the monthly. What does the monthly look like?
Bullish.
Bullish. So again, when people get, this is like my take on this, right? The game, there's always people playing a game within the big game. Now nobody likes to take looks at the higher time frame because it takes forever. Okay, that's okay. I get it. Like, you have to make your money, right? It is what it is. People like to scalp. People like to intraday. You should be doing these things if opportunities present themselves. But at the end of the day, guys, you cannot forget about the higher time frame because the market will always go back to the higher time frames. We got to break a structure here. We have a blue arrow. I can press the bulls. Levels is saying, hey, we have a starting point right here. Now as I drop down to the weekly, market is already below that, which is fine. But look, if this is my higher high, this is my higher low. I'm waiting for sells, like for sells to be confirmed, like, oh, we're swinging sells now. Right here. Need, what is it? Change of direction. I can't even spell right now. Oh my goodness. Need change of direction for sell opportunities. Right? Now, again, I understand, you know, whoever was looking for sells in this area, that's fine. That's fine, but that's counter trend trading. Wait, so who's right? Wait, so who's right here? What do you mean? With the, so you're talking about the time frame trends. So whoever was, I mean, yes, the 4-hour is trending down, but the higher time frame is trending up. So this is what I mean, guys, right? So let's see. So then what do you trust more? The trend on higher time frames? Yes. Always trust the trend on higher time frames, guys. This is what I mean, right? When you're playing a game on the 1 hour, right? Trying to catch buys in here. And you get clapped. You're like, man, Nas has been toxic lately. You're not even understanding what's going down on higher time frame. Because technically the market can go as low as this change of character line. The market technically does not have to respect the starting point. This is what I mean. The market can go as low as it wants in this range. And as soon as we get that change of direction, we're starting that next swing. Does that make sense, guys? But as soon as that market breaks and closes below, you're like, hey, market wants to continue selling now. Let's go ahead and look for sells. Right? But, okay, so you guys understand that. Great, awesome. So with that being said, on lower time frames, what's going on? How about the purchases made after hours? So with that's, I'm pretty sure you're talking about stocks. We trade Forex. So, I mean, trading NAS, that's 24/7 for us, or 23/7, right? Because for us, there's only an hour throughout the day when it's closed. So technically, we could be trading this all the time. But same rules apply. Same rules apply. So look at this, guys. We have break a structure. BOS. So on the monthly time frame, The two red candles identifies that it is a downtrend on the smaller time frame. I indicate if that makes sense. So on the monthly time frame, okay, let's go up real quick. Okay, talking about these two candles. These two candles do not indicate downtrend yet. At least not on the monthly. Because on the monthly, we are going up higher. Right? So technically, this is it's just a pullback. Right? Especially on the monthly, right? Higher high, higher low. We're waiting to go higher. But if you are trading this intraday, which most people are, right, on the 1 hour, 4 hour time frame, yes, we aren't in a downtrend. We are in a downtrend. So that's how you're able to catch counter trends, right? When you're able to identify this, you can sell this to the next best buy zone, which is technically, I mean, market technically crushed it, but I'm looking for this actually, which is on its way down there right now. This is where I'm looking to take some buys. Market's almost there, right? So we could be possibly taking sales if we're able to catch these. You know, we can. Obviously, market doesn't give it, but if the market does give us opportunities, then we could take these opportunities, take them down, take them down. Now, at some point, this downtrend is going to have to end, right? Because we're focused on the monthly time frame next swing. So as soon as we get into this area, now we should stop looking for sales and expect a nice rejection. Once we get that, we know that we're starting to look for buys, and we can now start to catch these next waves and send the market back up higher. Does that make sense, Isha? This is why having a higher time frame bias is always important, right? So like, let's say you do scalp. Let's say you do trade the 5, 15 minute, and 1 hour. You should always have 4 hour and daily targets, right? Let's say someone caught sales here. Okay, cool. Someone caught sales in this area. What is your target? You should be looking on a higher time frame to be like, okay, well, there's probably something over here in this area. Let's go ahead and box that up, and then we'll go ahead and sell to that. And that's everything, right? Maybe you're on the 5 minute. What's your target? Let's go ahead and jump up to the hour and see where the next best buy zone is, so we can go ahead and sell to that. Right, so let's go ahead. We continue to get breaker structures to the downside. Okay, cool. Where should my change of character line be, guys? Where should my change of character line be? Just like this example here, right? Boom, that was a nice sell opportunity. Whoever caught this, 8. Whoever took this opportunity, 8. This is a good sell. But what are you selling down to? Right? Yes, you can always do your 1 to 3s. This is great. You should always be doing this. Always do your 1 to 3s. But you can also be focused on, well, if the market does go higher, maybe I can go ahead and leave a little bit of a runner. Maybe close 90% of my trade, leave a little bit, and let's jump up to the higher time frame and see if there's something we can actually sell down to. Once we start seeing the market start to shift, right? Once we start seeing that, okay, the market doesn't look like it wants to start selling down anymore, now we can start to go ahead and close out some of this trade completely and just focus on waiting for the buys, right? So this is what I'm looking at right now with NAS. When, you know, if we can go ahead and pump down here, I'm a trickle in with the test trade. Now for me, my broker allows me to trade a mini, which helps a lot when you're test trading with small accounts. You know, so anybody who is trading the regular NAS on anything under like $1,000, like you're hurting yourself, to be real. You're definitely leveraging more than 1%. So make sure you guys are using the minis if you guys have a small account. But that's with like indices. That's what I do with indices anyways. I don't like to lose big chunks, and you know, sometimes 1 hour. This is a 4 hour setup. This is a nice 4 hour setup. That's a $292 loss. You know, that'll hurt anybody. You know, so you're like, ah, shit. But it's still good. You know, but on a small account, you can make that a $29 loss. You know what I'm saying? You can make that a $2 loss, $2.92 if your account's small. If you have a $100 account or whatever the case, $500 account, you do not want to risk $292. Go ahead, use proper risk management, and risk $2.92. That's what you should be doing, especially if you like trading indices. You want to trade indices, do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop to the 1 hour time frame. Looks like we have a little starting point right here. Now, if we get a little structure shift, I may take the idea. I'll send it out if it looks clean, right? But right now we have a break of structure to the downside, BOS, and we do have a starting point right now that it is respecting, right? Now, who asked for the 5-minute setup, or who asked me to drop down to the 5-minute? Was it Bruno? Someone asked me to drop down to the 5-minute on NAS, bro. I'm gonna look for you. I'm gonna call you out. Oh, it was Bruno. Bruno, where you at, Bruno? All right, so look, check this out. We're at a 1 minute start. I'm sorry, a 1 hour starting point, but we can still continue down. Right now, the market is bearish, so we need a change of direction for buy opportunities. Right, so once the market breaks and closes, now we can start expecting some buy opportunities, right? But until then, we can still shift the market lower. So let's take a look. Right now, we're on the 15-minute. Our very last BOS to the upside, bullish BOS. Okay, we're good. I need this to change character. Need change of direction for sell opportunity. Guys, do you see how I literally gave myself confirmations for both time frames? Let's move this way. I am not looking for buys unless the market actually lets me know, hey, I'm looking for buys. Let's start looking for some opportunities. Now, just because the market's in my sell zone, I can have already test traded, right? I can enter. Let's take a look at this real quick, right? Let's take a look. This can be a $90 loss. Maybe I want this to be a $9 loss. Maybe I want this to be a 90-cent loss, depending on your account. I can test trade this. I don't have to lose $90 off the rip, right? But as soon as the market gives me this change of direction that we're looking for, then we can go ahead and use this as our setup, right? Let's go ahead and just set it up. We'll use this as our zone, this as my stop. Boom, 1 to 3 risk to reward. So when the market comes back into this sell opportunity, we can go ahead and shift that market down. And I could risk my 1% right here. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. Let me know. Does anybody have any questions off based off of this right here? Let me know, fam. Let me know. Let me know. Any questions before we get off today? Any questions? Any questions? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now again, I want to make sure, guys, that we get the confirmation in there, because again, on the 4-hour time frame, our starting point is actually right here now. So let's be careful. Let's not make any movements until we get the confirmations we need, because the market can easily give us this buy opportunity, and we can possibly buy to this sell zone, and then we'll see what happens next, right? So just make sure that we look for all the confirmations that we need inside of this area. Yes, Etney. Preferred platform to buy and sell on AppWise. I personally like to use Trade Locker. I know some people like to use MT5 or MT4. I'm not a fan of those things anymore. Those things are from like the dinosaur age, JC before Christ, BC, whatever that thing is, BC before Christ. Those things are freaking old. Not my favorite. I like Trade Locker. It looks just like Levels. It looks just like TradingView, and it helps calculate your lot size. So guys, who uses Trade Locker? Who doesn't use Trade Locker? Give me a 5 if you don't use Trade Locker and you use MT5 or MT4. You know, I don't like trading on my laptop for some reason. Yeah, they're like, oh shit, I don't trade on trading view, or what is it, MT5, MT4. I like Trade Locker, guys, because it helps you calculate, you know, your trade setup, and it helps a lot. Like, if you're someone who's new, man, it helps a lot, bro. So make sure you guys are checking that out. You know, I made a video in the Powerhouse website that talks about breaking it down in percentages, how to do it. Make sure you guys check that out. It's already out there on the website. But with that being said, guys, if you have no other questions, that is it for me tonight, guys. I hope I gave you guys some value. Hope you guys were able to take some notes, you know, and take some stuff out of this. Make sure you guys apply it. Make sure you guys jot this down in your notes, guys. You guys should have notebooks on top of notebooks of the same thing. Repetition, guys. Write it down until you're like, bro, I know this, bro. Like, stop it. Just give me the charts, you know, like, guys, repetition. Rep it out, guys. Right? But have a good trading week. You know, trade responsibly this week. You know, don't try to catch that falling knife. Let the confirmations come to you. Take the opportunities when it's time. Okay? If you guys need any help with your setups, go ahead and send me your charts in the chats. At me. You could DM me. Get at me, guys. Let's go ahead and work together, man. I will see you guys on Friday. Peace out.